What is up, guys? It's Avi here, bringing you guys another freaking video, and I will be showing you guys my storm and gear setup. I'm gonna go straight to the point, guys, so let's go. All right, so I am using the Dragoon's hat, I'm using the Mali robe, using the Dragoon's boots, using the Celestian Photon Axe because of the Shadow Pip chance. I'm using the Dragoon's Athame, using the Dragoon's Amulet. Don't really like using this. I really like this because of the block, and it comes in clutch sometimes, and it gives me more health. Then I use the Duelist Daredevil ring. First off, it's 4th age right now. 5th age is probably going to be you know, canceled. You're just probably not going to be able to use it anymore. Nacho, I use the info pet because I'm too lazy of making a galvanic, but I'm glad that I didn't make a galvanic pet, because if I'm versing a myth or a balance, galvanic actually casts more than info, so I could actually die from balance or die from myth because of the incoming 10%. I use a battle Havox mount, and I also use the duelist devil may care deck. Yes, I use a level 110. I really don't use the level 120 or level 130. I really don't care. It still works out. All right, so here is the main point: the deck setup. So the deck setup is very small, and the reason for that is it's turn-based PvP. All right, so turn-based PvP is actually quicker than regular PvP. The only reason why I'm saying it's quicker is by the deck. If your deck works, you'll win the match, or you'll do really well in your matches. If your deck is small, you're gonna have a hard time finding the spells you need, right? So you have to get your spells as fast as you can that you know that you need, right? So that's why I have a small deck, especially when I'm Storm, and especially because I'm Glass Cannon. When you're Glass Cannon, you should have your deck to be small, right? And I did not really show you guys my stats for real. It's 167 damage, 44 resist, 40 accuracy, 482 crits, 279 bolt, 37 pierce, 6013 in healing incoming. I don't really heal. 104 power pip chance, 116 shadow pip bonus. It really does help a lot. 631 pip conversion. I could get more, but I'm just too lazy. I use the ice dispel, obviously, because okay, these are the schools that you're gonna have a hard time against as Storm. You're gonna have a hard time against ice because of their health. You're gonna have a hard time against fire because of their utilities. They're just super good at countering Storm. You're gonna have a hard time against Storm because they are basically the same school as you, and they also carry storm dispels. They also could actually insane bolt you, and they could just kill you in 2 turns. That's pretty crazy. Myth and Storm are opposite schools, right? So it's obvious that Myth could actually kill Storm, and Storm could actually kill Myth. That's why Myth is actually hard to beat nowadays, because of their huge buff with their utilities and their spells. That's why you see basically 5 mid shields and 5 fire shields, because fire is one of those schools that I have a hard time against. I have more ice shields here because, well, they have a lot of health, and it's pretty intimidating when they have 10k health while you only have 7k. So that's why I have these type of shields. Alright, so for stun blocks, it's self-explanatory. If you don't have stun blocks in, you're basically going to get comboed by a stun. So like King R into a FFA, or a Medusa Feint into a Snake Charm, or a Winter Moon into a bomb, Stormlord into a Risaka. There's so many different combos that they could do to you if you don't have stun blocks in. That's why stun blocks are super important, and that's why I have 4 stun blocks in my main. I have 5 epics here because of these spells. The reason why I have lightning bats here in my main is because they're spell elements now, so you can't really enchant them and put it in your side anymore. You can only get the TC version, but I would rather get the strongest possible spell for this spell, right? So I put 2 lightning bats in my main so I could enchant it and, like, you know, get a free kill or kill the minion if I really wanted to. The reason why I have a insane bolt in my main, I don't have insane bolt in my side. All right, and the reason is, if I put in my side, I'm only gonna have a plus 250 enchant, right? If I put it in my main, I'm gonna have a plus 300 enchant. So this is a gamble spell, right? So you want to get the most out of it. So I actually use the epic enchant instead of the gargantuan TC enchant, and that's why I use it for my main, because I get the most out of it on my main deck instead of my side deck. Galvanic is situational. It's only when I don't have anything else to do. Let's say if the opponent passes, I'll just use the Galvanic and boom, I'm good to go, right? Obviously I can't really use it against the balance because they could pop my bubble, or a myth because of the Galvanic. So yeah, so the Storm Shield is because for Storm Dispels, of course, and also for incoming Storm hits. The minus 80 really does help for those type of situations. The reason why I have Shift Pigeon is to basically you know, like ruin everyone's playing style or their combos, right? For example, you know that your fire is going to do a free into an FFA, right? So you could always just use this spell to counter that. So instead of using FFA, they have to use a weaker spell like Scorch. So that's one of those reasons why I have this spell in my deck. For strikes, I really use them because strike actually kills you now, so that's a possibility. I love these 4 Storm Beetles. It really does help when taking out shields super fast. I have these wands because of minions, myth minions, which can be super annoying. But those are like the only reasons why I have wands here. So yeah. So my side is super interesting. I love my side overall. I love this deck overall. It's so good. It helps me a lot, and it does help me with certain situations. If I'm in a pickle, just insane bolt. If there's like a double stack shield, I could always like Thunderbird or a Storm Beetle or a Pierce if I really wanted to. So here's the thing. So the reason why I have freeze is because, you know, it's a free stun. You know that your opponent doesn't have a stun block, so you would just use a freeze into a Risaka. Easy 4k damage. 5 towers. The only reason why I have 5 towers in my side and I don't have any towers in my main is because if I have both tower shields in my main and on my side, they could actually stack together, and I don't like that. So I have to choose. Do I want to put my tower shields in my side, or do I want to put my tower shields in my main? I chose it to chose to put it in my side because I could actually pull it whenever I want, whenever I need it, right? So this was a good it's a good decision, because whenever you're in a pickle or some certain situations, like really bad situations, and you need a shield, you could always just pop it up, get that tower shield in, and then may cast it or cast it to you, and you're good to go. So that's literally it. Triage, I only have 1 triage here because no one really does a blade stack into an overtime anymore, since it's turn-based. Once you do that, you have to find a triage right away, so that's why I only have 1. I get my triage pretty easily because I mostly discard my hand a lot to get like certain damages. I have 2 pierces because your opponent doesn't have that many set shields, especially for like Storm or Fire or whatever, right? They need to have some set shields for other schools too. They don't really know that they're versing your school, like Storm or Fire or whatever, right? Maybe Fire mostly, but like for Storm, not a lot of people think that they're going to verse a Storm, right? So they're most likely going to use a tower shield, and if they do use a set shield, you could always just insane bolt. When they use a tower shield, you could always pierce. That's the entire reason. Also, it's because I have Thunderbirds, and these Thunderbirds give me a 3 universal traps, and these Storm Beetles give me a universal blade, right? So if I wand, right, I'm gonna lose those blades. That's why Pierce is a better option than using wands. So yeah. Sometimes if they do use a tower shield, I would just hit through it anyway. My Pierce is okay. I also have an infal pet, so Like hitting through shields, hitting through tower shields does not hurt you at all as a storm, which is great. I have Vaporize because, you know, Myth is the new fire right now. I have 2 bubbles because I don't really bubble as much. I'm super aggressive that my opponent can't bubble against me. So at the end game, I could always just bubble to make them be like super intimidated. And that's how I basically beat Blake. If you don't, if you haven't seen his streams, if you notice my name, I did beat Blake using that kind of strat. So
Get that in time. Bro, don't tell me Vance just disarmed me. You did not just disarm me, bro.
One Storm Dispel. Yes, it's a 1 pip Storm Dispel because I'm super crazy like that, I guess. But you can only do that with elementals. You can't really do that on balance, life, myth, or death, which sucks. But yeah, this is self-explanatory. It's better to put it in your side than your main because you could just draw it whenever you want, right? So a Hammer of Thor is the same way. I only have 1 Hammer of Thor because of fire, and fire free is still really like good, even with the -45. Plus there's TCs of -90s going around. So the Hammer of Thor is easily the best spell in the game against fire. Sultan and Risaka are self-explanatory. You know that I'm using the Shadow Pit bonus wand, and that's why I have these. I mostly try to get Risaka, but when I have 2 Shadow Pips and I only have 3 Power Pips, right, I would just spam the Risaka. It works out pretty well. Catch of the day is people who blade stack a lot, especially for like life, ice, and death. So if they double blade, just catch the day and their blades are gone, and I could always just sign right away. The only reason why I have 1 sign is because, well, sign is easily like counterable, right? So you can't just always like want to Scion all the time. You need to like find ways to actually kill your opponent without Scion. So that's why I have these certain spells over here. Queen Calypso is easily the best 4 pip spell in the game, and that's why I have only 2 here. Thunderbirds, there's 3 of them because, well, they're utilities. They're the best. Stormlord, I only have 1 because most people use stun blocks. I have 2 owls over here because there are certain situations like versing a life who spams heals a lot. I could just storm owl and just kill them 1 shot, which is great. Especially if I actually discard one of them by accident, which happened to me a lot. 3 Wild Bolt is good for taking out set shields. It's also good for gambling and max bolt, which does frequently, which is great. And then 1 Black Mantle just to cover up my Storm Efreet, because Storm Efreet gives a -60. The Mantle gives a -55 with 0 pips. So yeah, just consider this Mantle as a you know, a substitution for Storm Efreet. So yeah, that is my storm deck. I hope you guys like my storm setup. It really does help, and it got to Warlord pretty well, even though it took me so many tries. Not with this deck, but I've been like doing a lot of tests with the best deck to use, and bruh, this deck is probably one of the best decks I ever made for a school like this. So thank you guys for watching. Leave a like if you like the video, subscribe for more, press the bell button, and comment if you want to see more deck and gear setups.